We just left Vicky's down at in Redding, and we're headed up toward Lassen Park. Thought you'd like to see these beautiful pines. Raining this morning, a little cool. Everything just stands out. Look at that tree, the young reproduction. And again, the old trees with the moss. Large ponderosa pine. Look at the bark. My sweetheart, she's... Isn't this pretty? To look almost straight up, see the top of the trees. Look at that one, the shape. So they just stand out this morning with them wet.
We've just come past Hat Creek, and just maybe a last look at Lassen, and the sun's broke through. It's just gorgeous. Big ponderosas. Got to see the manzanita blooming. My, it's beautiful up here. Kind of brisk, but really nice. Clouds for a while. I see somebody out there. We've tried to find a big sugar pine cone. Oh, isn't that pretty? Manzanita leaf. Specimens, as you can see. Isn't that pretty? Indian paintbrush. Here, we're almost to Susanville. Got out to find a pine cone. Does look like a holly leaf, doesn't he? I can't see the big pine cone hanging up there. Gulch, Nevada. Spent the night here, our first night out from Vicky's. Thought this whole courthouse was pretty. It's on Dartmouth Street. The end of Maine. We went to the post office in Lovelock. It's an old town.
We're just about 30 miles out of Wells, Nevada, looking into the Ruby Mountains. These are the rubies over. And they go on and on. Clouds are low. Still quite a bit of snow out
there. Here in Twin Falls, Idaho. A nice KOA campground, just out of Twin Falls. We're going to be going over to the falls pretty quick. You can see my sweetheart over there getting everything ready. Go. We're on our way. just a really nice, not August nice. Pool. Pretty flowers. River Canyon here out of Twin Falls. It's just gorgeous. Looks like a little oasis down there. There's the fairway down here at on the Snake River Canyon. Can you believe it? What a beautiful place to play. Okay. You can see some people playing right there. Boaters, and isn't that a beautiful canyon? Bridge across the river. That are feeding the river here.
We're going to go up
long ways across this thing. How far up is the bridge that we just crossed?
475 feet.
475 feet above the Snake River. Isn't this gorgeous? Oh.
There you go. See that bird going through there? Here he comes. We landed right up.
That bridge, which is 400 and something feet above the river, and over there is where I took a picture of the canyon. Understand there's also a ranch down in here.
Look at there. See it come up on the deck?
Fireweed. Oh, isn't that pretty? I mean, that's close.
It's a big truck.
Isn't that pretty?
about 11 o'clock, and he kept telling Harold, he says, let me help you get to bed, because he says you're too heavy for Mother to handle. Harold says, no, I don't want to go to bed, I'm just going to sit here in my living room. And I said,
We're here at Ruth Short Hills in Idaho Falls, just getting reacquainted and catching up on old times.
He wasn't going to give up to a wheelchair.
So Tuesday, well, I had told him, he says, I don't want to go to the rest home. And I said, as long as you're not dead fast, I can take care of you. And I think you've gone determined he wouldn't become dead fast. But on Tuesday, he didn't get out of bed. And Wednesday he died.
Oh, is that right? That's right.
The summers up at Glacier.
Oh, they did?
Mhm.
After they left?
After they left the park.
Mm.
And then they,
The Winches went to Glacier too, you know, then.
I've got June's address.
She told me when they visited.
Sure good to see you folks again.
She had it.
Oh,
Well, it's sure good to meet you.
yeah, to meet you, yeah. There.
And then
Jackson Hole, Wyoming, looking up at the ski lift area where John and Vicky used to ski. John took his first lessons here. And this little place here was all that it was. At that time it was just a chairlift and a little building there. And now here's this big ski lodge here. This is Snow King Mountain. And boy, has this town changed. It's the top. Now that take you up. That's a new one. And then this is a new one. And this is the old one that the kids rode on. And the quake and aspen are so pretty, you can hear them here behind me. That Vicky attended. I'll try to get around here. There's our camper. Why, this place doesn't even look like the same place. There's Snow King. The tree's pretty. Church that we attended when we lived here, Grand Teton, but this is, it was a little white frame church at that time. How times have changed. Things have changed. The boardwalk. Very fitting for this western town. The little park. There's the antler arch. Real antlers. Captured, I guess. He fell from that building.
Yeah, shot.
Yeah.
Captured.
No?
He didn't like it.
This is the cowboy. Flowers are pretty. Wonder who sculptured that. Operation Desert Shield. Desert Storm. Drugstore is the only thing we recognize. Well, not really. We used to get some good sodas here. Ice cream.
There she goes. There she comes. We've been down in the park.
Hole. There's the ski area. Here we are at Grand Teton. It's just as pretty as I remember. It's a beautiful time of the year. There's Teton. The Tevanaught. And we'll be going on down to Moran, Mount Moran, where we were. Avant Range. Junction. And the mule ears are just beautiful. Look at that. Oh. We also went to church there. And then the teacherage was right there, I think. And that's a big new place. I don't know what that is. Moran, Wyoming. And this is where we live. Next door. And all of this other stuff is new. The new home for the ranger and the station. That was the gym, and the classrooms were over on the other side. A separate fire station here now. Moran Fire Department. And the principal and his wife was a teacher. This is out behind the post office, these beautiful looking, gorgeous office. The Buffalo Fork. Visiting friends of ours that are seasonal rangers here. Millers. Bill. The old Lake Hotel still being used. There's the dining room. Entrance and goes on forever, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just across the road from the old hotel is the big beautiful lake. There's the mountains.
Can't see the mountains.
Just barely, huh? Spent many a happy hour fishing
Yeah.
here. And, Vicky was just a little girl and she'd play alongside of us while we fished. I saw some boats out there. There's
See
the
one or
island
two.
that we went to for our picnic store here. Still being used.
Let's go.
Used to fish along here. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, that Peggy's a dreaming. Remember? We used to, oh, you got a big one.
This is a shot of the Yellowstone Falls from our artist point. See that deep hole? Deep gorge?
Man, that's a lot of water.
This is opposite end of the falls on the Yellowstone.
You know. Doc, remember down in the past?
Yes, I do.
All the color.
Yeah, you need a wide angle lens up there too.
There, I got it.
You got it?
Oh, that's Mount Washburn.
If-
We're at Inspiration Point.
The point where the sun's shining off of the color
Uh-huh.
down there, that's 5 Mile Hole. And 7 Mile Hole is on,
5
That-
Mile.
the first one is 5 Mile Hole.
Uh-huh.
And the next one is 7 Mile Hole. That's where we went fishing.
Now the fog is the 7 Mile.
Yeah,
And then down here.
yeah.
Isn't that something?
That's where the fish was so big.
Yeah.
We had to jerk the lures out of the little fish's mouth.
Oh,
That's a fish story,
yeah.
but it's a
House that we lived in when Vicky was a little girl. And our apartment was right. Let's see. We went up. I have to go down a little tricycle down the path here.
what were Art's kids'
And that was our apartment right there. And then the Hayes, who had 2 little girls, lived over here. Kathleen and I can't remember. And then that little boy climbed that tall tree there in front. He lived in right next door, right there.
There comes Mom off of the. I can just see her and Vicky coming off. She going. Oh. You'd get a guy, wouldn't you?
The walkway across the meadow over to where Nick's office was. It's like somebody's over there walking their dog. And I lost Vicky one day, and I heard her little tricycle squeaking across this walk. Go to work. Ah! He's throwing a snowball at me. Yeah.
And now this is our first time to see you. Out at Canyon Blister Rust Camp. There's the old barracks. And down there were 2 offices. That little building was a warehouse, and this one was an office building. We moved them down. This was the mess hall here. Ate a many good meal in there. We had the Operation Potty Chair.
Oh. Denominational church at Mammoth Hot Springs in Yellowstone. And this was the area for the employees. Same little old houses. This was military housing when they first opened the park. School. It's used now as the credit union, and I think it's like a civic center. In one of these front row houses. These were for military, weren't they, Dad?
They were when it was a fort.
When it was a fort, Yellowstone. The building was here in Dr. Carr's office.
Yeah.
Superintendent and assistant superintendent and the museum. I believe the museum's the last one down there, isn't it?
That's right.
When Vicki was about 3 years old, and I see now that it's called the Yellowstone Association. The hunters lived downstairs and we lived upstairs. Station at that time, and you can see the old hotel, the Mammoth Hotel, beyond. One day, and she and a little friend were down at the end of the boulevard, mooching candy from the tourists. They were riding their little tricycle. The store is right up there. Oh, Hamilton General Store. And these were the front row houses, they were called. And we lived in that one. We lived here, and Edie and Paul lived in that house. And then Jimmy and Barmore, Vicky's little friend, lived here. Martinez lives there now. Looks the same. House that had the stars on the old back.
This was our last home here at Mammoth.
Second school Vicki went to. John started to school in kindergarten. Yeah, and first grade. Here's where Vicki started high school. Grain Depot.
We're back down into Grand Teton. Just coming in on the lake. And just look at that.
Kitty is in a motorhome that's just in front of us here at Coulter Bay. And he's looking out like, help, I'm being kidnapped.
Yeah, I need to go.
Isn't that sweet? But wanted to get one more shot of the Tetons. This is Moran. Since we lived at Moran Junction, this one was meaningful to us. The clouds hanging low there. Isn't that beautiful?
Right there, Peg, to your left. See that?
Has he still got it?
Yeah, he still got him.
Oh.
He dove in the water and caught the fish.
Uh-huh. Just saw an osprey catch a fish, and we're watching him carry it somewhere. See an osprey sitting in this old dead tree here. This is the oxbow of the snake.
Oxbow bend of the snake.
Oxbow bend of the snake.
Inside the bend of the river, there's a big rookery for...
right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The great blue heron nest in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any of the nests now.
You can see the reflection.
Yeah, there's a nest right straight through there. Down low between those two trees, there's a V in the trees in there.
Uh-huh.
There's a nest right in the top. Maybe you can't find it with that.
Yeah.
The big one is Moran, and the other one in the middle is Mount Owen, and then Tiwanot is the one over there next to Signal Mountain. We're out east of Moran Junction before we start up over the pass. And this is the buck and rail fence surrounding our friends, the Fates Ranch. And this is their ranch over here. We used to go over there and visit those folks, and they were ranchers. And the husband is deceased now. This is the hay. They use this thing to take loose hay up. Loose hay up and stack it into big, huge stacks. Then the geese would lay their eggs on there in the spring. Surround some of their storage area to keep the elk from getting in and eating all the hay. Looking out their back window, you're looking over at Moran, Mount Owen, and the Tiwanot and the Grand Tetons. They're all almost obscured by snow. We're headed up this way toward Hoggarty Pass and then on to Du Bois and Lander. Wow. It's over here. There's some real cowboys out there getting ready to go out and round up the herd.
Here at the Hatchet Ranch in the Buffalo Valley, out of Grand Teton, looking back toward the beautiful mountains. And this is where Vicki worked one summer. I think she was the bus girl here one summer. And stuff. Aspen are so pretty. I love the buck and rail fence. Divide going over Hoggarty Pass toward Du Bois, Wyoming. It's the most snow we've seen. The highways are clear, but well, there's still a lot of snow. Looks like storm clouds brewing. But isn't this gorgeous? This is just right here on the road beside us.
We're up on the Continental Divide at Tahogany Pass, 9,658 feet. This is the highest one that we've come over so far. These old trees, they're wind blown and
DuBois, Wyoming. It's an old western town. This is an old mercantile company. 1895. This cloud's pretty. There we are.
I love this wooden
That took my picture.
Welcome to DuBois, Wyoming.
Well, thank you so much. It's a beautiful area.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
just out of DuBois, going down the Wind River. Come into the Wind River Indian Reservation and I want to look at this rock. See that red rock? Just look at that. And then let's look at the sky. See how the clouds are building. You're a hawk. Looking at the... She's out there looking at the flowers. What'd you find? Hey! What'd you find? Uh-oh. That's what she's looking at. I told Peg that I was the wagon master and she was the scout, and watch for those smoke signals. This really smells sweet. Well, the wind is really whipping this up. All over this hillside, there's different flowers, different colors. This is like an herb or something called Artemisia. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it's got an odor like it.
This is the Wind River Indian Reservation. And that sky.
A panoramic view up on top of the mesa. High desert Wyoming country. Look at the Rocky Mountains all around us. An area where they're transplanting some antelope. They have to get some herds started in here. Down the other way. This area of Indian paintbrush. It is so red all over the area. Instructions from the guide over there. Gotta go.
Long stretch of road. Wow. Look at those. Close up of them. You're going to water. Oh, they're slick, aren't they? Shine. There's no fences. Yeah.
They've discovered you. They're looking to see. Look at this one over here. To your left, he's running.
That are growing in the water, the snow melt. Isn't that beautiful? Just the whole field is filled. It's like a little bell, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
Look at this pretty little yellow.
That's something else, Dave. That's something. That's good. Looky here.
Looks like a rabies bush, but the flower isn't, is it?
Well, see, no, it's like a rose.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Down here under the pine tree. This is an aster. Well, I think it's fleabane. Really, but isn't that pretty?
Not much.
That's enough. Isn't that something?
We just come into Colorado from Laramie on Highway 287 and stopped at the first rest area. And we're looking at all these pretty,
Oops, I'm in there.
all the little things that are out here. This field of yellow. There's my sweetheart. Going exploring. Hey. Close up of what was out in that big meadow.
Better. Right there.
Okay.
Let me pull it back from so you can see the red. Can you see that now?
Yeah. Wasn't shaking too much. Got it.
I don't know what kind of little bird this is that's nesting in a what?
In the pipe. At the brace at the top of the shelter is made of.
Isn't that so cool?
Can you see a little flat head?
Yeah.
Green on top.
Uh-huh. Oh, you're so pretty. Walk over there a little ways, Dad, and see if she'll turn her head. She's got big eyes.
Look at these clouds. And that blue, blue sky.
We're here at Bill Kelly's in Longmont, Colorado, friend of Nick since boyhood, and this is what they see from their home. Long's Peak in the Estes Park. Estes Park here. Rocky Mountain National Park is where it's located. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, it's a beautiful place. A lot of farmland here. He grows iris and roses, and I want to get a picture of some. Iris, aren't they beautiful? and his dog. Well, we're going to go into breakfast. Donatella. Isn't it?
Yeah. He's running coal factory, breaking crust on there. Oh.
It's Jo, Bill's wife. But she's quickly getting out of the picture here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I making a first?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And look at the snow we got.
I know it. I know it. Now, is the, oh, that's just great right there. Oh, that's so pretty. Uh-huh.
Peg, we come to see some dear friends.
Yeah, we did. Raspberries. Oh, that's great. Thank you. Oh, these are gorgeous. Columbine. And he's got gobs of them.
Well, here I'd had to work, you know, all these years to get up there, and he starts out. I quit a job here, one my over 7 cents.
Is that right?
I was working at Gulch filter. I was running their lab for them. There was a little tray on there, it automatically dumped in so much dust every so many minutes. And then after you ran them so many hours, you took them all, cut them apart.
All the traffic.
Your junction is 17.
25 for Denver.
A beautiful setting they have here. At Focus on the Family headquarters, and it's just a beautiful day. So nice up here. We're across the highway from the Academy, Air Force Academy. In the other direction, across from Focus on the Family.
We stopped in Goodland, Kansas to see Dorothy Young. I can't remember now what it was. Some kind of a supervisory
Yes,
training.
I remember part of that trip. And then you went up to Oregon and got our fifth wheel.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right. We went up there.
Did you sell that, Dorothy?
Yes, quite soon after we got. Well, we weren't able to travel in it, so
yeah.
why have a city?
That's
you know,
right.
it deteriorates in the heat.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
And now this is going to be awful.
Well, this is so good to see you, Dorothy.
We
Yeah,
caught
we've
her
looked
just before
forward
she
to.
moved, didn't we?
Yeah. We've looked forward to this, and
Like to see Sherry. You tell Sherry hello for us.
Oh,
you know,
she was so
I'm pleased, Dorothy, that you're going to be with her, because I've been concerned.
Well, she is. Of course, we talk often on the
Sure.
phone, and everybody, well, not that everybody, I only have a couple friends here in town, that
Uh-huh.
are really good friends,
Yeah.
but they have her telephone number and everything, but
Uh-huh.
she worries.
Oh, of course.
In Russell, Kansas, and the wheat is beginning to turn, and this looks like it's a different kind of variety than what did we have at home. Those long burrs there on the seed. And then, as we come out and look over the whole, all that is wheat. Just about as far, this is the interstate system this way, and then as far as you can see. As we drove up to Russell from Hayes, come through an oil field. Yeah. Also, Russell, Kansas is the home of Bob Dole. It's getting a sample of the wheat. Yeah. What else you doing? Yeah. Here's Fort Scott. We're going to take a tour of the city. Trolley. Yeah. We just got off the trolley and about an hour's tour through the city, looking at the old homes and a lot of unique places, and trip out to the cemetery. Unique place. The Fort Scott is just off to our right. We'll go up there in a few minutes. About this place that was handcrafted crafts. And guess who wanted to go see that? Yet how many miles of brick streets that were in the area, and every one of the bricks were made here, and they had Fort Scott stamped on the bricks. Hey. Inside the powder magazine. Under this canopy was a well that they kept their drinking water. The old cannons and the caissons. It's one of the officers' quarters. Big 2-story house. Yes, this is a quartermaster storehouse. It's where he kept all his supplies. Just Moments Chapel in Carthage, Missouri. This is the chapel area. What's in that window up there?
It's one of the little people. Angel, I think. I'll be walking that time.
Okay. There goes somebody. Yeah.
Hours per day. So you can imagine how tired and frustrated he became. One day he left the chapel and had no intent of ever returning. However, he left and prayed and asked God to give him strength and courage to come back and complete what he had started.
Those are the seasons.
These are the seasons.
Hear my feeble plea, oh Lord, look down on me. When I kneel in prayer, I hope to meet you there, blessed Jesus, hold my hand. I can be buried in the land of Canaan, and with rapture I survey its wondrous beauty's grand. Glory, hallelujah, I have found the land of promise, and I'm happy.
Gallery here at Precious Moments gives the story of how Sam Butcher started and how everything evolved from his becoming a Christian and how God blessed him. This is a little garden out from the chapel. There's the little angels along the way, as you can see, all the way to the waterfall. Sure pretty here. The old streets in Carthage with a lot of the old Victorian homes. And this is probably what their sidewalk looked like. We're on each side of the block. This is the Ulmer Funeral Home. It was probably one of the old homes too here in Carthage, Missouri. Oh, the architecture, I love it. Caught my eye. It's a real tree-lined street. This is a spot where the Battle of Carthage took place, and I guess
July the
this
4th.
area was about half and half. Half were pro-Union and half were pro slavery. Yeah.
The battle started about between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, lasted all day on July the 5th.
What year?
1861.
This Claiborne Jackson was the governor at the time, but he was also a general, was he?
Right, his only governor that led the men in an attack.
There were a lot of German Americans here, weren't there,
Yeah.
that were pro-union. Okay.
There were 1,100 men encamped on this site on the morning of July 4th, 1861. After marching 22 miles from the Osho,
Mm-hmm.
and then they confronted Claiborne Jackson here at this place. There were about 6,000 men, and only 2/3 of them were actually armed. In this area, the Union troops on one side and the Confederate on the other.
Mm-hmm.
And they fought all day back and forth in here. There were about 6,000 men, according to the sign, and only about half of them had weapons.
My goodness. This is a water
It's a low area.
low area. Huh? Some of the old rock there. See underneath the...
All of this was stemming from a political uprising in St. Louis.
Oh.
And the South was trying to maintain control of the rivers.
Governor Jackson could be a relative because your grandmother was a Jackson,
Yeah.
wasn't she?
I don't know if we had any relatives in Missouri at that time.
House at Carthage, Missouri. It's a beautiful piece of architecture. Love these old homes that are here. Old buildings. I don't believe I've ever seen a prettier courthouse. See what time it is. I think it's about 12:26. Where did my sweetheart go? There he is.
Look at some of the buildings. Really old, unique structure.